All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Roofr Masterclass. I'm Pete with Nick here from Roofr. We're excited to be back with you again today and really excited to talk about this topic specifically. I know, that we've dealt a little bit with the measurement end of things and kind of run you through the whole process, but we've got some new features that we want to focus on today that, are really a big one for me. I know, the proposal end of things obviously is my bread and butter a little bit. That's my favorite point of everything, coming from a CRM background and being a little bit of a GC in the past, the quoting process, how important that is, and working inside of that and figuring out the best way to stand out. Like I'm a big fisherman. It's all about the presentation when you fish. It's all about the presentation when you sell, right? Like, you can have the best product out there, the best sales team in the world, but if your presentation is lacking, the odds that you're going to make a great sale are probably seriously reduced, right? So we have a new feature, I guess two new features really, to touch on today. And let's talk about those, Nick. I'm sure with your experience quoting, you've seen everything, you've seen all different ways of quoting from doing it pen and paper to some digital now. And, obviously, you have a lot of guys who have ventured into other things besides just roofing, right? They may offer siding, they may offer eaves, troughs, or gutters, depending on where they're located. They may offer windows and doors, whatever the case may be. So, they're always looking at opportunities to possibly upsell. And we've added this feature, which you and I have been in love with since the beginning and wanted since the day we released, our proposal feature. And here it is, right? We have good, better, best, and we have multiple option, right? So just talk about your experience, what those bring to the table for your sales team, and how they really help you to better sell your products and get your team in the door or maybe closing more business.
Yeah, it's a great point, and you're so right on. You and I wanted this for a while. There's an old adage: if you ain't going to do it right, don't do it at all. Man, did we do it right? Like, this is a really, really cool feature that's really going to open up the door for a lot of business. But yeah, to go back to my experience, I've been roofing since I was 12. I've been doing everything with paper quotes out to computer quotes, and really showing options. And options is the way to go now, with it being the digital age. More people being educated before they ask for a roof, more people understanding the products that are out there and the versatility of everything. They're going to have a thought and opinion. So the days of quoting out just one product, you could still do that. And especially if you are that one person, you can do that. But offering options on those products is where you want to be. You want to be able to open up the door to more business. You're always looking to increase an average sales price so your company can grow, but you want to do that with less friction. Something with ease is going to really open up the ability for you as a company to grow and expand and start to make more money. And that's what this tool really does help out with.
Yeah, and let's talk about when we're talking about multiple option, right? We're talking about you got two different things, right? I really like the fact that you said we're talking about a more educated buyer, right? Like these are not people that are completely oblivious to the process. They have, the internet has given us the ability to easily do our homework. So by offering options, you bring a transparency to the table that these customers are looking for, right? Like they want to know what their options are. They want to know, what is the best product I could put on the roof? What is the medium product? Like what is the middle of the road product? Maybe they already know what those products are and they're just looking for quotes for each, and so you have a lot of functionality here where you can quote a good, better, best inside of a single manufacturer. Maybe like I said, I'm a GAF master elite guy. I want to be able to quote my, silver, gold, and platinum packages, whether that be steps up in warranty, whether that be steps up in material, or maybe I'm the guy who offers three different manufacturers products depending on a good, better, and best scenario. Maybe I'm a guy who does other things besides just roof, and I want to be able to give the customer those options to pick from. And utilize that situation to upsell, right? Give your sales team that functionality to go in there and say, yeah, I know you came, you brought us here to quote your roof, but since we were here, we went ahead and noticed like you needed new gutters. We went ahead and noticed that you are going to be in the need for siding in the near future. So we went ahead and just quoted them all for you. Maybe you don't need them right now, but here's quotes for them all so that when the time comes, you've got them already. Like they know they've already got a quote from you. They know that they've already have someone that they could trust. Maybe they're getting you to do the roof right now. They can go back later to that quote. We had a conversation in a podcast that we filmed not long ago about becoming their roofer for life, right? When you think about this stuff, and you think about one of the things we talked about, like if I have a problem with my car, I have a go-to mechanic. Like I've got a guy, right?
Yeah.
Be that guy for them. They need something done on their house, be that guy, right? And this is a great way to get your foot in the door to be that guy by quoting some multiple things and maybe setting yourself up for future business, or possibly, like you said, just increasing the overall price of the sale by maybe getting it all at once right there at the first time, on the first visit. So
Exactly. And that's a big thing too. It's not just offering different options. It's not just increasing the sales price. It's imparting. And I like over these last 4 master classes we did, Pete, I think there's going to be a drinking game where anytime we say education and transparency, someone takes a shot, because increasing the education and transparency to the customer is where you're going to get that repeat business. You're going to be your local roofer, the person who knows you got a problem with your roof. Call Pete. Pete at Pete's Roofing knows what's going on. And the way to do that is blow them away with presentation, to blow them away with how transparent you're being, and educate them with everything. So giving them options on different ventilation features too. You could have box vents, or you could use a multi-option quote to upgrade to ridge vent, or you could upgrade it to a solar vent. Whatever the case is, it doesn't have to be specific to certain different materials. It could be within that same box. And that's what Roofr has done. When we say if you don't do it right, don't do it at all, this is why we did it right, because there's so much versatility in a tool like this to help a company like you guys watching grow.
Yeah. And that, like we talked about, this is huge, right? Like you give them the ability to just have all that functionality and do all those things inside of one platform, and the education piece is huge, right? Like this is what we're here for. Like we're here to help you guys, like think of us like consultants, right? I think, we want to educate you so that you can then educate your customer, and that, being able to have that educated customer and you becoming the authority for them is such a huge piece, right? So let's go ahead, Nick, and dive into it. I'm going to throw a poll up here really quick.
Yeah.
If you guys can just go ahead and answer this really quick for us while Nick goes ahead and gets his screen going. Just want to see, what you guys think about how are you guys currently creating your proposals, right?
Here we are. Yeah, it's really a good, interesting feedback to get on that on the poll, is figuring out exactly what you're using to build your proposals. Are you on paper still? Are you using a program? Are you using a spreadsheet? And see where we could actually help out with some of this too. But the good thing is that we have a great team here as well that could help educate you along the process on what could happen with everything there, with the Roofr tools, as well as show you where we can help out with just your day-to-day process.
Yeah, so I think this is great information. Over 50% of the folks watching today are still paper proposal folks. So we're going to show you today really how you can make a difference. And the biggest difference that this proposal feature is going to make for someone who's a paper proposal person is the time factor, right? Like, let's talk about how much time you are going to save by using a product like Roofr, to create your proposal digitally, as far as just driving time, time in front of the customer, getting signatures, chasing down people to get signatures, just the simple things like that, that add up so much over the week, and that we can really dial those in to be a matter of minutes rather than hours, right? So let's go ahead and dive into this, Nick, and thanks for everybody for jumping on that poll and giving us some feedback. But let's go into this, Nick, and talk about our proposal feature and how we get started, and then let's talk about how that feeds into this multi-option and this good, better, best scenario.
Yeah, exactly. And when you talk about speed, it's a perfect spot to start off in the catalog here to show you how quick it is. There's a lot of tools out there, a lot of fantastic companies out there that help with building proposals, who help building with everything. But what's the difference between us is speed. We build these things for roofers because we are roofers. So what you want to do is like the first step. It's not a setup time that's going to take 2 to 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, whatever the case is to get going. You can get going with Roofr within 30 minutes to an hour. And to show you how easy this is, you start off with a catalog. The catalog is where all your items live, and you can make it as simple or as robust as possible. And as you can see, I have a very robust one. You could quickly add an item one by just clicking on this, or we have some really cool features here where you could import items. You could use a CSV from your supplier and import everything right into there with the pricing. Or we have this really cool feature, which is a roofing system, and it's a quick start menu. You could choose one or six of the major manufacturers out there: Atlas, BP, Certainteed, GAF, ICO, and Owens Corning. And once you click on them, it's going to give you the breakdown of everything there: the ice and water, synthetic, starter, shingles, and cap, with the actual coverage of each item there. You could add this directly to your catalog and build a proposal in seconds. All you have to do is add in your pricing. So, Pete, normally you've worked in the CRM environment before. It takes a long time. You usually have to work with a representative to build this out. But with here, you're just able to start within seconds.
Yeah, I mean, this feature right here is a game changer. In so many other softwares, you've got to manually put those things in, or you've got to, upload information, which means you have to track it down from your supplier, get it in the right format, upload it, or possibly even pay someone to put that in there. So being able to just quickly click on this, get my most popular packages and get them loaded in there, literally like that, and it's filling out everything, even my coverage for me. I mean, that's an incredible feature. Like, I probably just saved myself hours of input time just by selecting the manufacturers that I'm using. So that is a huge game changer. Like you said, coming from a CRM background and knowing how labor intensive that process can be to get these catalogs loaded and to get all that map to function built. That's an incredible time saver.
Yeah, and it's really quite simple. Once you have an item added in, you could just hit the little chevron drop down and write in a description. So it really shows you the versatility of it. And once you have a catalog built out, you're able to build out templates. And with Roofr here, I got 10 templates here. I have all certain different kinds, because if I'm talking to a customer who's looking for a roof, it's not one size fits all. No roof is the same. So I have multi-option templates. I have a shingles SFT one. So you have shingle option, soffit, fascia, trough, or gutter, so wherever you are. I have a lump sum option. I have OC, BP, Certainteed, ICO, GAF, Atlas. You name it, and you could build something out for repairs. You could do this to increase that speed of getting to the customer. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It's 2021. People want things now. You go on Amazon, I need this, click on it. It's there with Prime the next day. So why are we waiting, letting our customers wait? That's going to affect our overall close rate as a company. We want to make sure that we get out there first, we get out there fast, and we get out there with, take a shot, everyone, education and transparency. Like, that's the big thing that's going to make you grow and build a company from where you are today to where you can be. Instead of 5 years, make it next year.
Yeah, and I think a huge thing to note here, even going back to the catalog where you touched on being able to enter a description, and then playing right into this template piece, is that, regardless of how you're currently estimating, we can accommodate all of it inside of Roofr's proposal, right? So if you are a lump sum guy, if you're a scope of work guy, and you're just operating off of a description of what you're going to do with a single price, we can capture that. If you're a granular line item guy that has every line item on there that they're going to use to build a roof for transparency reasons with the customer, or maybe you're dealing with commercial customers or insurance companies, and you need to have all that information laid out, we've got you. We can do that here, right? And not only that, but you're going to map it all from your measurements, so it's going to fill it all out for you, so you're not having to manually enter quantities and take all of that time. So, but let's dive into the new feature here a little bit, Nick, and let's talk specifically about good, better, best, right? Let's start there. I've got, like we said earlier, a couple of options there when it goes to good, better, best, whether I'm a single manufacturer guy or whether I'm a multi-manufacturer guy, whatever the situation is. I want to give the customer some options. So I'm going to go with a good, better, best scenario to kind of lay it out for them. So let's see how that would work here in Roofr.
Exactly. So I have one here called the multi-option template. And it's not even necessarily good, better, best. I know that's just a term that we use that is normally there, but it could just be a multi-shingle option here. So I have all architectural shingles here that are listed and from different manufacturers. And you can have something broken down from like BP, OC, Certainty, and GAF. And this is the beauty of a template. All these items, all these mapping, and all the coverage and pricing is already built in. So, along with all the brochures that I need, I could flag things on and off. I could have my installation includes. I could have terms and conditions. You could have everything broken down piece by piece so that your speed of getting to a customer is right away. So, you talk to that customer and you understand that they're looking for different types of shingles. Well, that's not a problem. I have a good, better, best option or multi shingle option here. And you can build out things with Roofr reports, with brochures, and you could shadow things on and off with ease, just like this, and be able to provide them with multitude of options and make the quoting process very, very simple.
Yeah, and I think this is really where the Roofr proposal stands out, right? Like we're not talking about a plain Jane templated, a line item list or basic scope of work like you would get if you're producing something like on a Microsoft Word, or maybe even pumping it out of, let's say, your QuickBooks or something like that. We're talking about a presentation style, very visually appealing, uh, very educational. There's that word again, right? Very educational sales piece that I can use, whether that's virtually, whether that's in the home, right? I have all of my sales information from my manufacturer here. I've got my color selections, right? So I'm not having to worry about going back to the customer for them to pick a color. It's all built in here. It's all very visually appealing. It's going to stand out. If you're in a market, let's say you're in a metro market that's got incredible competition, and they're getting quotes like crazy, or you're in a door knocking situation where, maybe they had some storm damage and they got a bunch of contractors coming to them, making quotes. What's going to make your quote stand out from the crowd? One, getting it there quicker than anybody, right? Speed to lead. If you can be one of the first people to the table, odds are you're going to win that job. And two, when they're looking at all these quotes, which one are they going to remember? Which one's going to stand out in their mind? The one that looks fantastic, right? It looks professional. It feels great. It's got all the information that I could ever possibly want to know, all right here at my fingertips. And that's what that these templates give you the ability to do. Let's talk about the flexibility, Nick, of this platform, as far as being able to toggle things on and off, move things around easily. I can make adjustments on the fly even, right?
Yeah, so like for a perfect example is if I'm jumping into this template here and it's something super basic like this that has the information in, to just add a different line item here, you just hit the details. And let's say we want to make this the aluminum quote. So once it's loading up, you have everything there to really set you up for success. And talking about ease, you could just go into here and have, you type in the information that you need, and it's built in seconds. You could have downspouts, you could have soffit, and you could have fascia. So I just created like a multi-option proposal here in seconds, and say my last one, I want to add in, say something, let's say an upgrade to a skylight, or even better, something a little bit more functional that you don't have to build in. But let's talk about ridge vent. So we want to open up the door. If I could spell, that would be fantastic. But there we are, ridge vent right here. You could have all these options and you could start renaming them to break down the ease of it. So this is your Atlas shingle option. And you can see as I'm doing this, how quick it is. You could really make something that's super robust, super quick, and super simple from beginning to end. And it just opens the door to so much more growth opportunities and so much more sales coming in the door.
Yeah, and this is what I love about this is it standardizes the way we quote, right? Let's say I'm growing my sales team, or I'm thinking about scaling this year coming up in 2022. right? I want to add a bunch of people. I want to try to capture more market. But how do I make it so that I don't need to go necessarily find the guy that's got 20 years of roofing experience just because he's the only one that can quote a roof? I want to be able to standardize the process. Well, here it is. You can set up those templates, right? And anybody that can sell can use a template, right? But you still have the flexibility for those guys that are a little bit more educated, a little bit more, have a little bit more expertise, that they can go ahead and make those adjustments on the fly if they see a situation and they want to go ahead and add another option or add an upgrade to that. They can easily do it here. That flexibility exists, right? But it allows you to standardize the way your team is quoting, so it's not just you, like I'm not the only one that has enough knowledge to quote at this company anymore, right? Like I can take that knowledge, transpose it into templates, and now anybody that can sell using these templates. The educational materials are there, the quote details are there. The mapping to measurement feature is making that easy. So I'm not even having to teach somebody to be able to really eyeball it, and know how much material they need. The system's going to tell me everything, right? So I just need people that can sell now. And so that gives me a lot more flexibility in hiring people and scaling that team up.
That's a big thing. Like when we're coming into a slower season, pretty much all around. Thanksgiving's around the corner. We got Christmas on the way as well, New Year's. Things tend to slow down until after the new year. Why wait on building out a system that you can get everything going within seconds for the new year? Why wait on growing your company for the new year? I can guarantee your competitors aren't. They're not waiting. So jump on that, and there's ways to do that with tools like this, with setting up and talking to a roofing professional like our team as well. We're happy to kind of, shoot the crap with you. As a roofer, I almost swore, uh, and have a conversation about what is your best option. What can we do to help out? And that's what we're here for. We're here to help streamline your sales process and grow your company. And actually, it's a good point. We do have that promotion on right now from this webinar for you guys that are here and gals that are here. We do have a 40% off for the Roofr Premium, which brings it it's over $700 savings right off the bat. You're looking at 1073, and you can see right at the bottom. You can click on it, and it's a fantastic option. And what our team does, we have an in-house customer support success team, as well as our account executives. We're here for you. We're here to help grow.
Yeah, and I mean, so let's take this now, Nick, and let's go the multi-option route and show them, okay, now I'm a guy, I'm going out, I'm quoting roofs, but my team can do other stuff, right? Maybe I'm the guy that does, like you said earlier, maybe I'm the guy that does roof rejuvenation. I've got that option, or and maybe I do repairs, right? So let me go ahead and throw that at you and see. Let's set up a multiple option quote, right? Let's try to get a customer in a situation where we can upsell them.
Of course, yes. So I just, as you were, we were talking before, we've been breaking down everything, and I was able to create a multi-option quote on the spot for shingles, aluminum, ventilation. We could also add in a roof rejuvenation option by just clicking on this details here and saying roof repair. Let's say roof rejuvenation. Oops. Roof cleaning option. Let's do rejuvenation. So that's perfect. We have that all set up there too. So you're giving the customer options for everything. Rejuvenation. How do you spell that? There it is. Of your roof. So what you're going to do is you have this set up. You have a terms and condition, and you have some brochures built in. All you have to do is you go back into your Roofr system, and starting with our what got us to the dance, our famous flagship product, which is our measurements. We have the DIY and the Roofr reports, and we have everything in the list here. When you're a premium user and you have that premium offered there, all you have to do is go to the address that you want to go with. And let's say, for example, we'll use this one here. Click on the three dots and create a proposal. And this is where you talk about the speed. You have all your templates that we're just looking at optioned right there. I can go to the one that I just created here. You can see which ones are multi-option with the stacked cards there. And I can just use this template, and it's going to calculate all the quantities on the spot. So you got to think about, you get the lead, the call in, you order a report with the premium features, you're getting your report under 3 hours, comes directly to you, and in seconds, as you can see, that took about 10 seconds for it to calculate all the quantities. All I have to do is add in the waste in the items, um, add in the margins for everything. For areas like a downspout that you don't have a map to measurement, you could just easily add in the amount that you need to do. And then once you get in there, you could also go into the options here and select your profit, your margin that you want to have in there, making it really simple to break down your cost of goods and how much you're making. So for all you business owners out there, this is a good way to keep track of everything that's always available for you. You jump into
Yeah.
the settings and you hit into the multi-select, but go talk a little bit more about this.
I just wanted to make a mention of the fact that so many times, I think even when we have this multi-option opportunity, maybe with some other platforms, I think you lose a lot of the functionality of the map to measurements. And here you're keeping it. Not only is this mapping the measurements of your roof, right, but it's utilizing those measurements to calculate all these other options, right? So you created a multi-option template that's being completely populated for you, like with the exception of things like downspouts, right? Where I'd have to enter a number anyway, but so many times you lose that functionality when you move away from the roof. And here you don't. Like no matter what you got, you can utilize those measurements to populate these items, right? So, like you said, what seconds, right? Probably 30 seconds to go from a measurement report to a full blown proposal. And now all I'm doing is setting margin, right? And I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, and having that transparency for yourself to know exactly how much you're spending on material and how much you're spending on actual, like how much you're making. That's something where a lot of businesses start to kind of have problems with. You don't understand your margins, you're going to get affected with that. But we already have a proposal built out from those measurements. We have, you could put your logo here, talking about branding and becoming big out there in your area. You want to get your name out. And so imagine handing this to a customer within 3 hours of them calling about a roof. You're able to have a lot of education, a lot of transparency. Take that shot. We have all the description here as well. Upgrade to ventilation, rejuvenate your roof. And these are multi options. So it's going to show you all these different prices. But it's also going to show you the brochures, the colors that are available, you name it, and along with your terms and conditions. Once you send this off to a customer, all you have to do is please pick your option, and you have 10,000 characters to go from on here. So you have a lot of things you could put in your financing quick link on there as well to get them approved, and you could send this proposal out. And from start to finish, it's going to take you around 3 minutes. So I've talked to a couple of roofers. I talk to roofers every day, but talked to a couple of roofers where I was asking them, like, what's the biggest problem that you're facing? And they said, too much work. And that sounds crazy, but it gets to a point where you have X amount of salespeople, or maybe you're like a sole single prop guy that is just you, and you just have too many leads out there and you don't have enough time to jump and reach out to them all. Well, it's not too hard now, because what took a lot of time in the past is ordering a report and waiting 24 or more hours, or driving out to the job and measuring it, putting it all in that piece of paper, going home, doing the math, building out a quote, sending it to the customer, setting a meeting to bring out the sample boards. You can go on and on. It was a chaotic process. Now you could handle 10, 12 leads a week or more, because it only took you 3 minutes to do something. And you can get these people out, and this helps out for the winter too when you're talking about canvassing. I'm in the northern hemisphere, so I get the snow, I get the slow time in the winter. But you can measure with our DIY tool on everything and quote a bunch of people saying, I know that your area needs some roofs. Keep me in mind for the winter. During the winter, I could talk about this.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many options of how you can utilize having those measurements ahead of time. And like if you're an insurance guy, and maybe you're working off a storm damage, right? Like you can look back. We talked about this in an upcoming podcast, that we filmed. You got all of this information, take advantage of it. Think outside the box, utilize that information to go after some of these people in the off season and set yourself up for success going into the new year, as opposed to waiting, and then doing what I think is traditionally what happens a lot of times in this industry, which is we start fresh every year, right? Like, oh, season started. Let me go find some leads. Let me go find some work, right? Instead, let's take advantage of all of these situations that we have now, and let's go ahead and take advantage of that info and use it to canvas and to get some people up front, even if they're just warm leads, and we just get them going, so that way we can just attack them come the start of the new season. Like we were joking in the podcast about how we talk about a roofing season, and really there shouldn't be a season.
No.
Like, you should be roofing 365 days a year. Like, just because maybe you're in a climate where it doesn't allow you to be physically on a roof doesn't mean you stop roofing, right? It doesn't mean you stop selling the product. So tools like this, they keep you in front of the customer. They give you that great appeal by being visually, appealing to the customer. And like you said, Nick, it took you 3 minutes to create that, and that plays right into what we were talking about with the speed to lead, right? How many jobs would I be able to win if I'm the first one to the table and my proposal looks like this, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I've got the best looking proposal and I'm the first one on the table because I can produce it that quickly, it's lights out, right? Like, I'm going to sell all day doing this.
Yeah, the customer's going to look at this, and I put this one in just to show like the versatility of the tool. You could have that single option, or you could have something that's 49 pages long, and you can make it grow as big as possible. The other thing is too, this is what it would look like to the customer. So we sent that out there. You could have a little note there, your logo here as well. So you're branding again on the internet. You're bringing that 21st century tech enabled want and need from these customers to their front door by sending this out. All they have to do is click on that view proposal, and it opens it up on their browser, on their phone, whatever the case is, and shows them that beautiful option that you showed before. All they have to do is they could look through the entire thing. You could be on the phone. You could track when this is viewed and when it's not as well. And as this loads, I know whenever I'm sharing my screen, it slows down a little bit, but this is the big one I was showing before with all the different options. They can choose assign now on the spot. And this is where we talked at the beginning and say, if you ain't going to build it right, don't build it at all. This is what is effing cool. You're able to really take a look, and for the good, better, best option, the customer could select one, and the price changes as it goes along, and select which one they want. So let's say we go with this one. Let's go with this one because it's the more expensive one for fun. You could say that they want it as Onyx Black. Please watch my flowers, and sign it off. Those people love those flowers. So,
oh yeah.
And then confirm and send. And that's one option. But because we're here, I have the other one too, the multi-option. And this is what makes me so excited. As you can see, I'm giddy like it's Christmas and I'm about to get my presents from Santa. So same kind of thing. They click on it. They got the branding that opens it up. You have that sign now feature. I'm just going to kind of speed through this. This is the one that had the shingles, the options, the aluminum options, the shingles, soffit, all that. So they could look at the whole proposal as it's loading, and they could also just go to sign now. And here is the cool thing. With the multi-option, that little toggle that we showed you, you can now pick, I want this, and watch the prices go up as we go along. I also want this. Okay, I saw that that's a price. I don't have the money for that. Maybe I'll skip on the soffit and fascia and just look at the eaves troughs. And you're able to toggle this on, all, and off. You could go whatever you want. And this is when you're talking about upgrades, where you're going to show some amazing interactive quote with the customer that's helping them understand how much they're spending, being transparent and being educational. We're able to break this all down in seconds. So they can go back in and say they want silver. That's not how you spell that. Silver.
I think one of the things to note here too, where this is really huge, is if you have customers that are working off of financing, right? Because how many times has the finance company approved the customer for more than what the roof actually costs, right? So now you have these options here and you can play right into that and say, hey, you were approved for X. Let's go ahead and show you some other things that we could tackle while we're here, and then all you got to do is click buttons and it's going to increase the price, and we're going to see how those would reflect price wise, and be able to essentially allow them to cherry pick, right, how they want to spend that money, whether, what options they want to choose, whether they want to hold off on certain things, whether they want to just go wholesale in and and tackle everything at once. But I think when you're dealing with a financed customer, it really gives you a lot of flexibility, because so many times, these financing companies will finance them up to a certain amount of money, regardless of what the price of the roof is initially. So you've got that opportunity, you've got that leeway to upsell and really take advantage of it.
Exactly. And then you can take a look in your system. You can see the notes that the customer makes. So talking about organizing yourself and getting yourself ready for orders and everything. If your customer writes down the colors, you have it always here. You can see when they've been sent, viewed, signed, everything there. You have access to view that signed proposal to take a look at what needs to be done. It really kind of helps with the office. It helps with the execution and the sales. And it's just going to push your company forward to be able to grow. Like we always say, grow, grow, grow.
Yeah, and if I'm a pen and paper guy, and I'm trying to keep track of all of this manually, maybe there's handoffs involved from my guys in the field to someone in the office who's then, creating a proposal or creating material orders off of it. You've got paperwork changing hands, the time and the effort involved in that, and also the opportunities for mistakes. I'm eliminating all of that. And like you said, everything's very organized in here. I can see the status of everything. My team can have the access to it that they need to see where we're at in the process. We know when something's signed. We know when the production team can take over the process. We know we have all the notes from the customers. We have what they picked. It's all right there at our fingertips, and it makes it so easy. What I would say is, if you are one of those guys, like we had, I think 50% of what's on the call today say they're still using pen and paper, now's the time, right? Now's the time to switch over to a system like this. It's slower right now. This is an easy time to make that change. This system is by far the fastest system that you'll ever switch over to, as far as getting up to speed, getting it set up, getting your team up to speed, learning it. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of the downtime, and let's get that set up and get it standardized for your team. And just, the time savings alone, think of all the things you could do with it, right? You're not gaining hours back in a week, you're gaining days, right? Essentially, with how much time you're going to save here. So, quote more business, do more jobs. Like, there's so many
Spend
options.
more time with your family.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's just so much time, so many things that you could do with that extra time. So, I really appreciate everybody attending today. Nick, great job showing us through the platform and really showcasing these new features. I give you some time here real quick in closing, if you got anything you want to say in regards to this stuff.
Yeah, like just to quickly end, I appreciate everybody that joins week over week, but we're here, and our goal is to speed up the process and help you guys grow. We do have that premium offer that you can see below there that is 40% off, but we're just here to even just have a conversation. So if you need anything, you have any questions, you want to see how you can get to that next step and get your company there without having to bust your back doing it, we're here for that. And just send us a message. Our account executives will reach out and we'll jump on a demo and show you where we can streamline your process.
Yeah, like Nick said, we're talking to roofers all day long, right? Like, that's what we do.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got great insight into what everybody's doing. Take advantage of that. Think of us like consultants here, and take advantage of the knowledge that we've been able to gain just by having those conversations and seeing how everybody's doing things, and what works, what doesn't, what makes people successful, and what how they're doing things, all the way from quoting to how their teams are run, whatever the case may be. Whatever your questions may be, feel free to reach out to us.
Of course, yeah, and that's a big thing too, is hearing what other people are doing is being able to impart the education on not only us but you guys, and finding out what you guys are doing. It is everything to us. It also helps us make updates like a good, better, best in the future.
Absolutely.
So that's something that we really love taking into account is your suggestions. So if you have anything, we're always happy to hear.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for attending. Like I said, the Roofr Masterclass, we're always here. So, feel free to reach out to us anytime, and look forward to seeing you guys again the next time we do one of these.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right. Thank you guys.
Bye.